Alright YouTubers, how you diddling? This is the Disposalist, and in this video I'm going to give a basic Battlefield 1 flight technique tutorial. You might have seen me in a Battlefield 1 general forums. I mentioned this because there was a thread recently called Piloting Planes Q&A. That guy turned out to have keyboard ghosting issues, but whilst I was posting my flight controls and trying to help, I realised it might well make a good first YouTube video for me, and here it is. So all I'm going to do in this video is introduce some very basic concepts and show some basic manoeuvres that they enable. These basic concepts of flying in 3 dimensions have an analogy directly with how planes work, so here they are. Pitch is the first. I use my mouse, push it forward, and you can see the elevators, those tail flaps, and when I pull it backwards, those tail flaps move. And what they're doing is rotating the plane, technically speaking, rotating the plane about a transverse y-axis along its wings. But for us humans, we think of this as the nose diving and climbing. So I push the mouse forward, the nose dives. I pull the mouse back, the nose climbs. Simple as that. That very simple first concept gives us a couple of different maneuvers. Diving is easy. It's gravity assisted. Push the mouse forward, pull the mouse back to come out of that dive. You get the classic image in your mind of a pilot struggling with his steering yoke to avoid hitting the ground. And you need to remember that in Battlefield 1 as well to a certain extent. Climbing out of a dive is much more difficult than getting into it. The second manoeuvre that pitch enables is looping. The classic loop the loop. So if I pitch up and keep going, I continue in a loop, and I can keep doing that. Now what you might have heard in the background is me throwing my mouse back into the middle of the mouse mat as I continue to loop. Now this is an age-old problem with piloting with mouse and keyboard controls. If you want to maintain a loop, you have to drag your mouse along and throw it back into the middle of the mouse mat. So the first big tip to give you, the most important tip to give you as far as I'm concerned in Battlefield 1 flying, is bind the pitch up key to the spacebar. Well, I do it to the spacebar. Anything will do. I find it most natural to be on the jump key, the spacebar. And then you can just hold the spacebar and you will loop and loop and loop without dragging your mouse around and throwing it all over your desk. So that's pitch and diving and looping. Roll is the next concept I want to introduce. I move the mouse left and right, and you see the ailerons on the wing flaps. They are moving, causing the plane to rotate longitudinally along its y-axis. That's along the fuselage, along the body. That's technically speaking what we think of is basically moving our mouse left and right is causing the wings to dip. So I move my mouse left, the wings dip left. I move my mouse right, the wings dip right. And you can see that this does not cause a change in it doesn't turn, sorry, it does cause a change in attitude only. I move the wings left, my plane isn't turning. It is slowly slipping towards the ground, I'm losing altitude, but it's not actually turning. Well, what I have to do to get it to turn, as I'm doing right now, is once I change the attitude of my plane, thus rolling, if I then pitch up, raise the nose, I go into a horizontal loop. Beautiful. This is one of the most basic maneuvers you will be doing in Battlefield. The thing to note is, as with when I rolled on my own earlier, you do slip towards the ground still. And when you go into a loop, you'll also find the plane tends to turn over and roll further towards the ground, so you have to counteract that. What I'm doing at the moment is simply moving my mouse very slowly to the left as I loop, and that's stopping me from sliding to the ground. It's counteracting the natural roll of the plane. Another thing you can do involves the third concept, which I'll show you now. This is yaw. I move the keyboard controls left and right, A and D. This moves the rudder on the tail left and right. Just head back towards the map, gives more time. So move the rudder left and right. Technically speaking, this is rotating the plane about its vertical Z axis, if you imagine a line through the vertical pole through the cockpit. But we think of this as performing a flat turn. The plane is only turning, changing its heading. It's not altering its attitude at all. So, we'll go back to pitching and rolling to perform that horizontal loop. I roll, I pitch. If I now change the rudder, it is stopping me from plummeting towards the ground. You might see this better in a straight line. Basically, when horizontal, the rudder moves to the left and the right. When on your side, the rudder, of course, moves you up and down. It counteracts the effects of gravity somewhat there. So you can see your rudder is for fine control in certain situations. And that combination of all three concepts, pitch, roll and yaw, is how you steer. That's it. That's flying. So please leave comments. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Restrain yourself and give me a thumbs down if you can. Please give technical critique. If you make these videos, I'd love to hear from you. Comments on my sound levels, presentation in general, the quality of the video, that sort of thing. Love to hear from you. And please post ideas for future videos. I'm hoping to make some more and become a millionaire. Well, maybe not. Just being useful would be nice. So, cheers YouTubers, have fun flying, take care, and I'll see you next time.